preparing now to stream live. How has your morning been? And I hope I get a smile back in return as I'm smiling at you right now, even though I won't be able to see your smile, but when you smile, you will feel happier. You will feel your heart opening out. So please smile back. Thank you. Great. Thanks for the comment on the chat group that you are smiling. Excellent. So when you look into the mirror, smile as well, because there is someone smiling back at you whenever you smile into the mirror. And that way you also practice your smile to ensure that your smile really comes across, brightening up somebody else's day and or somebody else's moment. And to make sure that your smile comes across as sincere and from your heart. It's not just a fake smile, but truly is an expression of openness and kindness to whoever you're smiling at. Okay, so some of you have indicated some comments here. Yeah, your morning's been not bad. Smiling, and thanks for the video on Facebook. Yes, I will also post this one up later as I couldn't get it to live stream. Another comment here is more apprehensive given the increasing number of cases for the past few days and coming days. Well, I think we'll just have to be open to whatever arrives in the moment and accept that COVID-19 is not going away. We're going to have some waves of less infections and some waves of higher number of infections. And that's just going to be how life is. And to be thankful that we have a really good healthcare system in Singapore that we can trust will be taking care of us. So unlike some countries where we are witnessing, their healthcare systems are buckling as the numbers are growing and they just can't cope. They don't even have enough protective gears for their own healthcare workers, which are then exposing their healthcare workers to some very dangerous times. So our government having stepped in very much earlier, and to some countries previously thought that we were very draconian, but it has paid off. So right now we are seeing a slight spike, but it is still very manageable, and let's continue to have the confidence in the system, not to panic because that's not helpful, and for us to trust the system, and that's really important, and trust ourselves to look after ourselves, to stay healthy, and to reduce the risk of infection by practicing social distancing, practicing washing our hands before we touch our face, because touching our face is something very habitual. So now that we have the awareness, we are going to keep our hands away from our face to reduce the possibility of infecting. Okay, so there is a mention here. Love your sessions. Thank you very much. Feeling tense today with higher COVID concerns. Yeah, be also aware of the amount of stories that are going through our mind that's creating the concern. It's like somebody has scolded us. That moment has passed. But when we keep replaying that scolding in our mind or that conflict, that's when it becomes very troubling. And that's when it becomes very stressful. So be aware when you read the news, once you've read it, put it aside instead of letting it replay in your mind. It's like when you listen to a piece of music, when it's over, you get on to the next piece of music, or you appreciate silence. So when you've read something, put it aside because it's of no value to keep replaying it. This is what we need, the awareness, and to be able to take a deep breath and drop back into our breath. That is how you let go of the rumination in our mind. Otherwise, it's like COVID, 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 COVID. And that's just what's going to cause you stress. Okay? So now it's going to be lunchtime. I'm going to be eating my lunch after this. You may have already eaten yours. So to me, if there's something I want to think about after this is lunch, not COVID. So focus on something that you can anticipate or look forward to, and that will bring you joy. So don't focus on things that's just going to bring your moods down, cause you to feel low. Because what's going on in your mind is what determines the mood that you'll have. Right? Sudden drowning with COVID. Yeah, okay. Thanks for being so grounded and grounding and reassuring and reminding us of important tips on hygiene and cleanliness and staying well. Thank you. Too many COVID WhatsApp messages. Okay, so you have a choice. Always practice choice, whether you want to even read it. I'm on this chat group that involve a lot of Malaysians. So not only I get news on COVID, I get news on the politics that are happening there, and I have this button that's called Clear All. So sometimes I don't even look at them and don't play every video that comes. Make a choice. Is this beneficial to you? If it's not beneficial for you to read it or to view it, you have a choice in deleting it or just simply ignoring and just scroll down. So practice making choices that are good for you. Okay, another comment here is, yes, I just embrace the news and it no longer makes me feel low. Thanks for your advice. Wonderful. Because the world is going to continue to come up with things that we don't expect, come up with things that we don't welcome or wish for. It's just going to happen. After COVID, it's going to be something else. In 2015, Bill Gates predicted that the pandemic will happen. And he was asking whether the world is ready. So we are now in another round of practice because there could be another one in the future that could be much more infectious and much more deadly. SARS wasn't so infectious, but it was more deadly. So as a human race, we have to learn, we have to adapt, and we have to become better at expecting what's unexpected. And that's the brilliance of our mind, that we can train and tame to be wiser, to be more grounded. Today I kind of put some green on this side because this is my birthmark, because today I have a photo shoot. So I'm trying to look a bit more balanced instead of people thinking that I had a bash up on one eye. And you know, this is what I've lived with all my life. People thinking that I have put makeup on one eye. People sometimes think that, oh, maybe someone hit me in the eye, or I walked into a pole and have this blue-black mark on my eye. And that has been an excellent thing for me in life ever since I was young, because it made me realize that, hey, it really doesn't matter what people think. They can think whatever, that I've been hit, I've walked into a pole, I forgot to put makeup on the other eye, or I rubbed the makeup off on this eye, or I only put makeup on one eye because I'm rather weird. So whatever they think, it's okay. So I had this practice from young, which has been a wonderful thing. So now I don't go around wondering and thinking and worrying about what people think. So thanks to this birthmark on my eye. So whatever condition that you have in your life is to use it to practice, to overcome fear. It's amazing. We can even be fearful what people think when we have no control of what people think. And as you get older, you will start to realize that most people are not thinking about you. They may be talking about you, but they're usually not thinking about you. So there are times when you talk about me, I don't even know, right? And what does it matter? You will be able to say whatever you wish to say, and I have no ability to dictate what you're going to say about me. And so I'm okay with it. I understand that I don't have any power over what you say about me. So same with you. You have no power over what people say about you. So accept that. Let go. Then there's nothing to worry about. Let people say whatever they wish to say. What's important is that we know how to be an expert of ourselves, to live a life which is ethical and kind. And that way, even if people misunderstand us, so be it. Let go. So whatever people ask about you, say about you, take it as a compliment. Even if that person didn't mean it as a compliment. if that person was trying to make me feel like, oh, okay, yeah, you must be a cabin crew. What's wrong with that? Being a cabin crew is a very honest profession. I have friends who are cabin crew, and they are lovely people, and they do a very professional job. So we can't make people say what we want them to say or to mean certain thing. We have a choice on how we wish to interpret it. So I would always take a more positive interpretation because I'm responsible for my own happiness. And that's how I live a happier life. Okay, so now let's do a practice. And today I'm going to lead a longer practice because many of the people joining us are feeling a little bit edgy about more news about the pandemic. Even my kids are flying back from the UK because they feel that it's probably safer to be in Singapore, and it probably is. So we are very fortunate to be in Singapore while all these things are happening. Okay, so just one more question. Let me look into it. I tried accessing Facebook but couldn't locate the videos. Can you advise on the navigation? Well, all you need to do is get onto the Brown Center Facebook page and just scroll down. You will find all the videos that had been live streamed previously, and they are there. Okay. Right. Okay, one more question, and then we're going to go into practice. I'm worried about living in denial if I choose to interpret things positively, even if the person doesn't mean it positively. It is not denial. I am not going to let someone's meanness get in under my skin. So even if I know that the person was trying to offend me or being mean to me, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to accept that meanness, and I'm not going to accept that that offensiveness that you're trying to put on to me. This is a bit like, you're driving along the road and somebody got upset with how you drove and they show you a finger. Okay, so you just kind of wave back, and they are trying to be mean, but I'm not going to accept the meanness, or I go, oh, sorry, sorry, I cut into your lane, and just let it go. If I take his sign as something that's meant to aggravate me, something that's going to make me upset, then it doesn't help. So I'm not going to give him the opportunity and to hand him the control to take my happiness away. So I acknowledge I may have done something that he got upset with. So I just wave at him like, sorry, and let it pass. So you can do that too. You don't have to accept the meanness because we have a choice. We can accept the message and interpret that as something to learn from. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Thank you for that comment. Great. So now let's start with our practice. How are your shoulders? So let's get into a comfortable position. How are your shoulders? So let's rotate our shoulders. Remove any tension that may be present. And rotate forward. Good. And now turn our face to the right and left. Right. And gently now to the left. Dropping our ear to the shoulder and gently rotate. After 2 rotations, change direction. And coming back to the center. Okay, so I hope that has reduced a little bit of the tension that may be in our shoulders, our neck, as we start to read about COVID or hear something that we are not pleased about. That tension usually builds up in the shoulder and neck. Okay. And if we have any anxiety or sense of worry, then usually this area in the chest feels a little bit tighter. So I'd like to invite you to place your hand on your chest, and whichever part of the chest that you feel the tightness or discomfort, place your hand there. Okay, so this is where I'm placing my hand, but if you feel that the tightness is more on your left side of the chest or the right side of the chest, you can change a different hand, whichever makes you feel more comfortable. So now, closing your eyes and take 3 beautiful deep breaths. And as you drop into your breath, noticing where your breath is. And direct that breath into the area where your hand is placed. So I like to call this area the space. The space where your vulnerability is felt. The space where your fear is residing. Or even the space where your anger is living. So connect with it, whatever emotion is present. If you have lost someone in your life recently, you may also feel the hurt in this space. So connect with the emotion. So in this practice, there is no denial. If anything, it is acknowledgement of the hurt, the fear, the anger, sadness that you may be feeling. So you recognize the tightness that is on your chest. You acknowledge the emotion. And you investigate the associated thoughts. That these thoughts are connected to the emotion that is felt. And now the technique here is to non-identify with it. So instead of owning the fear or the anger, the sadness or hurt, is to acknowledge its presence. Like, wow, there is sadness here. Oh, there is anger here. So you create a space between your emotion and your thoughts. Acknowledging its presence with space in between so that you understand what the thoughts are feeling this emotion. When you understand these thoughts, then you can accept that these thoughts are actually causing you to feel the tightness or tension in your chest area. And whatever thoughts they are, be aware of the judgment of it's not fair, it's scary, it's not right, how stupid. These are all judgments. Be aware of the judgments. You now put these judgments aside because they're not helpful. Not helpful for you in processing the actual underlying thoughts that is causing the fear, anger, or sadness to arise. Instead, we're going to use this time and focus to heal it by breathing in kindness, breathing in care. Care and kindness are the same. Caring for this emotion. With the acceptance without judgment of the presence of this emotion and the thoughts associated with them, enables you to begin the process of forgiveness. And if there's a person associated with this, wherever this person is, it could even be yourself, is to let the person's face emerge in your mind. If it doesn't emerge, it's okay. If it emerges, relax your lips and give it a smile. When you're able to smile, it releases a lot of the tension in your chest. A smile is an act of kindness instead of a stare that is angry. Smile. And breathe kindness into that space. And let the image of the person smile back at you. And just keep your breath directed to that space. And now the next breath, dissolving whatever anger, fear, hurt that may be present. Let the breath dissolve the emotion. And you may even feel the warmth of your palm that's helping to dissolve the emotion. And each breath is a breath of kindness, dissolving whatever emotion that's there. Healing and feeling that warmth from your palm. And now I invite you to move your hand down, and let the fingers of the two hands meet. You can place both hands on the seat or on your lap, and just let the fingers meet, and sensing the fingers meeting, the skin of the fingers touching each other. And breathing into your fingers. And dissolving all your emotions into your fingertips. And just feeling the emotions dissolving, even down your arms, from your chest into your shoulders, into your arms, and flowing down to the fingertips. And now parting your fingers, disconnecting the fingers from each other, and letting all the emotions flow out. Freeing those emotions from your body. And you just need to shift your hands now onto your lap. And your hands are apart from each other. And all the emotions you were breathing into your fingertips are released. And feel the sense of calmness that emerges. The sense of peace. And let a gentle smile appear on your face by relaxing your lips and your cheeks. And feeling a sense of contentment in this moment. Of just being present with yourself. Just you and your breath hanging out together. Your best friend. The breath is your best friend that's never left you since you were born. This friend, your breath that doesn't judge you. This best friend, your breath, that's always with you, keeping you alive. The breath is truly our best friend. So we just hang out now with our best friend, the breath, and smile at it. How wonderful to still have this best friend. We often ignore it. We often don't even take notice of it. It's always here with us every moment of the day, even when we're sleeping. Our breath, the best friend, doesn't leave us. Feel the calmness that comes with hanging out with our best friend. The peace, the breath our best friend gives us by just hanging out together. There's no comparison. There's no one else in this world that can give us this kind of peace and calmness. Let the gratitude arise. How wonderful to just have this moment, doing nothing but tasting peace and calm. Just being contented, just being with our breath. And now focusing on 3 more breaths. And slowly opening your eyes. Okay, how do you feel now? Did you feel like just staying with your breath? Just stay and just hang out with your breath? How do you feel? Love to hear from you. If you like to continue just staying with your breath, please do. If you don't wish to open your eyes, because you can still hear what I'm saying without opening your eyes. It gives you a sense of peace and calm, just hanging out with your beautiful breath. There's a question here. Okay, you sense stiffness in your neck. Okay, so just very gently move your head side to side. Sense where that stiffness is. And you can even place your hand on the part that is stiff. And just breathe into it, giving it care and kindness. So with this practice, you start to sense your body more. And by being able to sense your body more, then you are able to give it better care. That's wonderful. Now the comment here is very interesting. A new meditation. I was distracted by the strongest tense sensation in my shoulders and my chest though. How do I deal with that? Just be accepting of it. Place your hand on the shoulder that is feeling tense and breathe into it. The shoulder is just calling out to you. Give me some kindness. Just breathe into it. Okay, and another comment here is I like the fingers touching part. Good. So this is a partly a visualization practice, visualizing the emotions that are usually trapped in the shoulders or the the shoulders of the chest, and it kind of flows down the arms into the fingers, and then parting the fingers and letting the emotions leave. And that way we regain the sense of calmness and peace. So now you have another technique to use for your own practice at any time. And you can always replay this video, which I will be uploading onto Facebook, and just use this part of it for your own practice at any time of the day. So today I'm going to be covering on a topic related to work, because many of us are at work. And I recall many years ago when I was interviewing graduates for a job. And I asked this graduate, why would you like to join my organization? And his answer was, because you have a good training program and I'll be able to learn a lot. It's true. The organization I was working for at that time had really good training and development programs. But the answer really didn't impress me, because I'm looking for people who would want to come in and contribute, to serve. In the process, they will be developed. They will get training. But I wouldn't hire someone who says that they want to come in and their objective is to learn. They're not coming to a university. And remember, when you go to a university, you pay to learn. When you join a company, the company's paying you to serve. So going to organization or waking up in the morning to go to work, if we have the right perspective, then the work doesn't become hard. If we have the wrong perspective of what work is all about, then work becomes difficult and even tiring. So when I took over this very large group of staff, I asked them, what is your perception of problems? And some of them express, this place has too many problems. I said, okay, if the number of problems drop, would I still need all of you in my team? We were dealing with systems. And then it struck them. If there were less problems, I wouldn't need such a big team, which means many of their jobs would be eradicated. And therefore, many of them would be losing their jobs, or they'll have to be transferred to another department or another division. So what is our perception of problems at work? Do we create a problem in accepting the problems in our mind? Or do we embrace these problems and say, hey, now I know and I remember now why I'm hired, because there are problems to deal with. And I am hired to provide solutions. So the more problems I get, the more practice I have in creating solutions. And the more solutions I can create, the greater the value I am to the organization. So when we start to shift the perspective, we will shift the experience that we have. So I invite you to welcome problems, to welcome the work that you're assigned. Because when you stop getting work assigned to you, it means that there is less work, means eventually they're going to need less resources, or they no longer see you as someone they can rely on for the work to be done. So the more work you get means they value you as someone who can handle the work. How do you now balance it? Because sometimes when we get too much work, we are getting a bit too tired. So this is tuning into the body, which is like the practice that we were doing, to acknowledge, oh, okay, there's a strain here, or I'm getting a bit too tired. in this body because it's indicating that it's aching, that is to make sure you practice self-care. Go to bed early. Sometimes people don't go to bed early because it's not work, but because they are preoccupied with checking WhatsApp messages, scanning the news. And nowadays, the more you scan the news and it's not good news, it's not going to help you to have a good night's sleep. So give yourself a time that you're going to stop looking at your mobile phone. 10 o'clock, if you're going to bed at 11, gives you 1 hour to process all the unpleasant information that you may have gotten. And avoid reading emails before going to sleep. Unless you're planning to work on them, what is the point of reading them? Because sometimes you may get an email that is not so pleasant, and then your mind keeps replaying that email and it keeps you up at night. So be kind to yourself by drawing boundaries. If you don't draw your own boundaries, then you're subjecting yourself to unpleasantness and stress. So know your own limits. Only you know your own limits. With awareness, then draw your boundaries because no one's going to do it for you. So yesterday, I said to someone, I'm very tired. I'm turning off my phone. It was only 10-ish, and I turned it off. And it doesn't matter. It's not like I'm running a emergency department that people have to get hold of me at 10:45 or 11 o'clock. I have to take care of myself and to give myself enough rest. Because no one can give me rest. Only I can. Now, if you're also having a sense of a negative attitude at work, check what the negativity is. Very often I hear people saying, I'm not appreciated. And I remind them, please check your employment contract. What is the terms of employment? Usually it says, you shall be paid a certain amount every month for the jobs that you will be doing or the responsibilities as listed, plus CPF and plus maybe AWS, some health benefits, and vacation days. Where does it say in the employment contract that you are going to get appreciation? It's a contract for your service. So you give your service wholeheartedly because you have signed on the dotted line that you will give the service for a certain amount of payment you're going to get at the end of every month. But when we have this idea, oh, we want appreciation, then we create a desire that is likely not to be fulfilled. And then we get upset. We get disappointed. And this is our own expectations that's creating the dissatisfaction. Put aside that I'm hired to do a job and I'm going to get it done. I don't have a need for appreciation. If it comes, fantastic. It's a bonus. Just as in my service, I don't expect appreciation. I get them, but I don't expect them. And I'm paid to do this job. In fact, this is going the extra mile to do this, and I'm delighted to do it. And when I do it from my heart, it is no hardship. But when we think of all the things, oh, I'm doing this, I don't get time off for it, why am I the one doing it, why can't somebody else do it? All those chattering narratives are not helpful. They only take our happiness away. Make a choice. If you're going to do it wholeheartedly. Do it without expectation of appreciation. After all, we are already paid to do the job. So whatever is in between those hours we have contracted ourselves to work, give it everything we have, wholeheartedly. then we would find out the happiness in our work just goes up. And no one else has to do anything differently at work. All we need to do is to change that perception, and our whole experience will transform accordingly. So I hope that helps you to reconsider what is your perspective of your job, of your 8 hours at work, and what it means to serve wholeheartedly. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay, there's a comment here. Dealing with colleagues are more difficult than work in itself. Dealing with colleagues is part of the work. So don't look at, oh, this is the work, talking to people is not part of my job. Not at all. Dealing with colleagues is part of the scope of your work, because all of us have internal customers too. Someone needing something from me or asking something from me, they are also my customers. And it's up to me how I manage that. Okay, I'll come back to you. I can't do yours until I finish the other thing. Manage the expectations. Prioritize. And most importantly is that we say it in the nicest possible way. So in one of my previous sessions, I talked about mindful speech. First, is it true before we say it? Ask ourselves. Then, is it beneficial to say it? Third, is this the right time and place? Fourth, use the right words and tone. So even if we're going to say something, we have a choice in how we say it. If someone asks us to do something, we can say, oh, okay, yeah, I'll come back to you. Give me a few minutes. Or, what are you asking me to do? Go ask somebody else to do. Now, the second response is just going to create discord. This creates bad feelings. So choose a more positive way of responding. And that will help to build better relationships at work. You have the power to do that. And when we're nice to people, eventually they'll be nice to us. Some buildings, I have difficulties with security guards because they want to do their job and they want to look firm and authoritative. And I will say to them, thank you for doing your job so well. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for being here. And it starts to melt them. And they start to be nicer. And they then start to speak kinder towards me. And that's because I will use kinder gestures and words with them. And I accept that they're just trying to do their job, but they can do their jobs differently. So we set the tone. Instead of expecting them to change, it's for us to set the tone. And trust it. It will have its effects. So be kind at work, and there'll be more kindness returned to you. Maybe not right away, but it will happen. It's called the nature of cause and effect. All right, another comment here is very, very helpful. I will do serious thinking and reflect hard on your advice about work perception. I have been feeling demoralized and unmotivated at work due to stagnation and feeling other colleagues have been promoted faster. Good for them, they are promoted faster. They have more work to do. And sometimes promotion means we have more responsibilities, and it could mean more stress. So be happy for them. And you then have more time to do other things. Look at the number of people who are earning far more money. They're not necessarily happier. Much more responsibility, not necessarily happier. More importantly is whether you know how to be happy. You may have already been promoted multiple times and you still don't know how to be happy. Perhaps focusing on that would be helpful. Because another promotion is not necessarily going to make you happy if you don't know how to be happy now. Or that happiness might just be short-lived for a few days. And then you're back to, oh my gosh, so much work. This promotion is not worth it. So practice learning how to say in life, I have enough. My life is good enough. I am good enough. Because all the complaining is what takes away our happiness, no matter how hard and how much we have put into life. I hope that's helpful to you. Although many people say, if I don't have any desire to be earning more, then I will stagnate. No, you won't stagnate. Because stagnation is not reflected by how much money you earn. It's how fulfilling you find your life to be. I gave up 60% of my pay to be in charity sector. And I'm finding my life much more fulfilling. So it's proof that more money doesn't make me happier. In fact, less money now, and I'm able to serve in the areas that I enjoy what I'm doing, is much more fulfilling. Okay, so I hope that gives you a different perspective. Okay, so we only have 5 minutes left, and let's now drop back into our breath. And you're feeling your shoulders to be stiff, or your neck is stiff. Place your hand there and breathe into it. If you don't feel any stiffness anywhere, I'd like you to drop in your breath and to be able to say to yourself, I'm good enough. My life is good enough. My job is good enough. And repeat that. I'm good enough. My life is good enough. My job is good enough. And just be aware of the breathing. And once again, you can just hang out with your best friend, the breath. And feeling a sense of gratitude that you have your best friend, the breath. And life is good enough. Because wanting more and more is not going to bring you more happiness. To be able to appreciate what we have in this moment is what will bring about happiness. So practice in this moment. I'm good enough. My life is good enough. My job is good enough. And now feeling grateful and focusing on the 3 deep breaths. Taking 3 deep breaths in. And open your eyes and smile. Great. So I'm becoming more inclined to teach a whole Mindfulness Foundation course online. So those of you who may be interested, wait for the information that will be sent to everyone by email and also posted on our Facebook page. And also very likely I'm going to be conducting a 3-day retreat to allow people to just come in and be able to do these practices in a much deeper level. So you may want to consider attending it once we announce the dates. So with that, I hope this session has been helpful to you. So always remember, you are empowered to create your own happiness. Don't hand the power of your happiness to someone else. You can make the choices. Okay, so with that, thank you. Have a great day. I'm going to go for my lunch now. And see you again tomorrow. Same time, 12:30 p.m. Bye.